Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a great Friday. We're going to go over page 204 and 205. So if you have that, go ahead and grab it. I'm going to share my screen and show you what it's going to look like. So page 204 should look like this. It says fire and air, and we're still talking about using the context within a paragraph to find out what the definition of a word that we may not know that's in the paragraph is. So we're going to use the context clues and then try to figure out what the definition is of the word. So the first story is called Fire and Air. I'm going to go ahead and read that to you. It says, starting a fire is a bit like following a recipe. Getting anything to combust takes 3 ingredients: fuel, heat, and oxygen. All 3 are needed for burning to begin, but where do these ingredients come from? Fuel is anything that burns easily, including wood, paper, or grass. Heat can come from many places, but most people use matches. And oxygen, of course, is a gas in the air around us. If a fire doesn't have enough of any one of these 3 ingredients, it will be weak. To strengthen the fire, just add 1 or more of the ingredients. It is simple to add more fuel or heat, but how do you add more oxygen? From a safe distance, blow on the fire. You will see it strengthen because blowing adds oxygen to the fire, making it burn vigorously. Your fire will grow bigger, brighter, and stronger. To understand the role oxygen plays in keeping a fire burning, try this experiment. So before we go down and read about an experiment with fire, we're going to look over at page 205. And we're looking for the definition of combust. And you can see combust is right here in the paragraph. It says getting anything to combust takes 3 ingredients. So we're looking for what can help us with the definition of the word combust. So we're going to look at 3 different things. We're going to circle combust, and then we're going to underline all 3 are needed for burning to begin and burns. These are 2 context clues that will help us in getting the meaning of the word combust out of the sentences. So let's look over at page 205. On page 205, it says helpful context, clues, possible meaning, and then we're going to get what combust means at the end. So a chart will help identify the parts of the text that provide context clues. So if you look at the helpful context, it says starting a fire is a bit like following a recipe. So that part actually came right here. Starting a fire is a bit like following a recipe. Okay, so it comes before the word. And then the other helpful context that we're going to write in there is all 3 are needed for burning to begin, which is what we underlined over here. All 3 are needed for burning to begin. So those are the 2 things in the context that's helpful to us to get the meaning of the word combust. So now with number 1, the helpful context, you're going to look within that. What was a clue within that can help us find the meaning of the word? So we're going to look at clue 1, and then in the number 2, what was helpful, a helpful clue that could help us also find the possible meaning of the word. So we have in number 1, starting a fire, and in number 2, burning. So those were the 2 clues, and we pulled those right out of the helpful context. And then we have a possible meaning. So the possible meaning could be catch on fire, which gave us the meaning of the word combust means to burn. So if you put that back in the sentence, it says getting anything to combust takes 3 ingredients. You could also use getting anything to burn takes 3 ingredients. Correct? Good. If you need to pause to write, make sure you have everything written down, go ahead and do that. If not, we're going to look back at page 204 again and experiment with fire. And before we read that, I'm going to actually take you over to a video, and we're going to watch a short little video on the experiment. Since we're not in school and we can't do the experiment together, we're going to watch a short little video. Hopefully you guys can hear the sound on this. If not, I will put it in the link. Oops, sorry about that. I hit the wrong thing. I'm just trying to make sure that you guys can hear the computer if it's going. I'm going to go ahead and share computer sound, and you should be able to hear this video then. With me.
Hey everybody. Today we're going to take a look at something you've probably all seen before, a candle flame. You wonder, what makes a candle burn? Is it the wax? Is it the wick? Is it something else? You can find out by doing a simple experiment. But remember, if you're going to use a flame, you have to have an adult around, a parent, a teacher, or some other adult to make sure everything's safe. Don't play with the flame by yourself. So here we have a glass jar. I'm just going to put it over the candle, and we're going to watch and see what happens. So the flame goes out. But why does that happen? Well, it's because there's more going on here than just the wax or the wick burning. It needs something else. It actually needs something from the air. It needs oxygen. If you could look down into the flame, you'd see that oxygen molecules from the air interact with wax molecules and have a chemical reaction. And the products of the reaction, that means the stuff that's produced, is water vapor, carbon dioxide gas, and heat and light. And that's the flame that you see. It's the energy released from the reaction. So when you put the jar over the candle, what happens is that the flame uses up the oxygen inside the jar, but then it can't get any more. So since you need oxygen for the reaction, the flame goes out. There's another way you can put a candle flame out. You can actually use a chemical reaction to... All you need is a little... out just the gas. Let's see. Now, the reason why that happens is because the carbon dioxide is heavier than the air, and it comes out of the jar, and as it flows over the flame, it pushes the oxygen out of the way. So it can't get oxygen anymore. And just like covering it up with the jar, if it can't get oxygen, the flame goes out. So that's why the CO2 from that reaction puts the flame out. That was pretty cool that you can put a candle out that way. You guys probably have blown candles out, but now you know 2 ways to make a candle go out using chemistry. See you next time.
Okay, so we're going to go back, and hopefully my dog barking didn't pause the video too much, or I didn't mess it up anyway. Hopefully not. I'll have to recheck it after. So we're going to go back to an experiment with fire. It says the materials you will need. most important, a teacher helping you. 3 small candles, tea-like candles, which are the small ones that he showed in the video. 3 saucers, 2 glass jars, one larger than the other. So this morning we talked about if you had a jar that was this small, and then you had a jar that was this small, and then another jar, which jar do you think the candle would go out first in? And we said the smaller jar, right? Because the oxygen is going to leave that candle or that jar quicker than a large jar. It's going to have more oxygen in it. So it says, put each candle on a saucer and have your teacher light each one. Place a jar over 2 candles. Pay attention to the candles to monitor what happens over time. You will observe the candle with the least air available. The one covered by the smaller jar is the first one extinguished. Keep watching to see which candle goes out next. Blow out the last candle. So in this paragraph, we're looking for the word right here, monitor. What is the meaning of the word monitor? So we're going to go ahead and circle that word, and then we're going to underline helpful context before the word. So pay attention to the candles, and then some helpful context after the word. You will observe and keep watching to see. Okay, and then we're going to come over here on page 205, and it says paying attention to the candles and happens over time. So there's 2 other helpful contexts we can write down there. You will observe that and keep watching to see. So the clues that go with pay attention to the candles is attention. Happens over time is kind of small. So you're going to actually put happens over time over here. You will observe that. So we're going to put observe and keep watching to see. So those are the clues, and we're going to put watching. So we have attention, happens over time, observe, and watching. So what would be the possible meaning after we use the helpful context and the clues? What would be the possible meaning? So the possible meaning would be watch, keep an eye on. So that would be the possible meaning after using the helpful context and the clues, right? So we're looking for what the word monitor means. So out of all these things, we put them all together, and we're going to get the word to pay close attention or watch closely. And that's what the word monitor means. So when we're monitoring something, like if I was walking around and monitoring you taking a test, I would be paying close attention or watching closely. Okay, well, I hope you got everything that you needed from the video. I'm going to post that for you, and hopefully the dog barking didn't bother you too much. Sorry about that. And have a great weekend, and I hope to see you guys on Monday morning at 9 a.m., okay? Bye.